name is Drennan Kessinger, and I'm going to talk about the Internet of Things. So, just a definition I found online that I think really helps explain it better. The Internet of Things is a system of interrelated computing devices, mechanical and digital machines, objects, animals, or people that are provided with unique identifiers and the ability to transfer data over a network without requiring human-to-human or human-to-computer interaction. So this infograph just kind of helps you visualize the Internet of Things. See the cloud and then everything that is affected by it. So what does that definition mean? Well, the Internet of Things is essentially a bunch of quote-unquote things that are equipped with technology and are connected to the Internet and allows you to control them over the Internet. So how does it work? Well, as I mentioned earlier, the technology that's installed in them, everything will have a sensor or microchips or both, and they will all be embedded in the thing. And then that will give them two abilities. One, internet connectivity, and two, the ability to collect data, as well as communicate with other machines, and the ability to act on that data. So some interesting stats I found when researching the Internet of Things. Considering how prevalent it is even in today's world, 87% of people have never even heard of it. They don't even know what it is. They had no idea when they brought it up. ATMs are actually considered the first Internet of Things machines that we've had available to us. And this one I found very interesting. Around 250 million vehicles will be connected and self-automated by 2020 because of the Internet of Things. So what are potential impacts? We'll see impacts in three places: in businesses, with people, and in the environment. Businesses we'll talk about it later, but they'll be able to capitalize on this, not just making new products and new services, but also enhancing existing products and services. People, everyday life is going to get easier. It's going to free up more time. People will be able to live healthier, more productive lives if they use the Internet of Things correctly. And then finally, the environment. The Internet of Things has the potential to really impact the environment and to really help us change the issues that we've been having as far as climate change and destruction of forests, all of these kinds of things. The Internet of Things will really help us solve some of those issues. So what are the benefits? The main benefit is just simplicity. Everything will be available at the touch of a button. You'll be able to control things with a tablet or a phone. Here the farmer, he has a tablet out in the middle of a field. So what he would do is he would go out in the middle of his field with this tablet, click a couple buttons, and he will learn his projected yield for the year. He will learn how much rain he needs, what kind of weather he needs, what the projected weather will be, how much he should have planted, or if he planted too much, so if he'll have a surplus, and when he's expected to harvest. So all that he'll be able to tell just by simply taking his tablet out there and making a few measurements. Safety and health. So the way this will work is people will now have better access to machines that will be able to diagnose injuries, illnesses, diseases, any problem that you could have. They'll be able to diagnose it much quicker than a doctor can. Also, as far as safety goes, you will have better home invasions or home security systems. Your cars will be more technologically advanced, so they'll be able to make safer decisions for you. We've already seen certain cars are able to read the surrounding area with sensors and apply the brakes even without you wanting to. And then just better decision making as a whole. There's going to be a ton of data available, And when you have more information, you're able to make better decisions. So there are definitely downsides. One I find the most interesting is that there will be essentially too much data. The quantity of data that we'll have will require new solutions for understanding and also for processing this data. Also, the data is going to be incredibly complex. We're going to be getting data from so many different things that we aren't even going to really be able to understand what exactly the data is trying to tell us. So we'll have to, people are going to have to come up with a new way for interpreting data. Security and privacy issues, as I mentioned, when everything is simply within a click away, if someone has access to your tablets, phones, computers, whatever, either through password or just through obtaining that item, well, then they essentially have control over your life. Also, increased e-waste. So with technology like computers and cell phones and tablets, there are harmful chemicals in them as well as rare metals. And so with the Internet of Things, we're going to be recycling through these different products at such a rapid rate that we're going to be throwing these harmful chemicals into the environment, and we're going to be throwing away these rare earth metals. So the Internet of Things already in use. So two of the most common things, are the two that I knew the most about, were the Nest thermostat and the Fitbit. The Nest thermostat is programmable. You can set different temperatures for different times of the day. So for example, if you like it cool in the evening when you go to bed and warm in the morning, you can set settings. You can also control it from your phone while you're at work, while you're out. And then the Fitbit, it tracks progress, health progress, such as your steps, your heart rate, and things like that, which will allow you to become a healthier person. And it will also give, goals you need to reach if you want to lose a certain amount of weight or reduce your blood pressure. This is an interesting stat I found. In 2013, the Internet of Things impact on clothing, there was about 104,000 units sold. So these are shirts, shoes, shorts that are sold with technology in them that tracks data. And most of this data was things like heart rate, acceleration, speed, muscle contractions, force, things like that. It's mostly used by athletes to help them train better and more effectively. But they project that within the next few years that even more of the clothes that we wear will have sensors in them. And then today, there are over 6 billion different items connected to the Internet of Things currently. And these are things more than just the Nest and the Fitbit that people don't necessarily know about now, but will definitely become more prominent in the future. In everyday life. So how will this make life easier? Well, as you can see, we have the fridge telling the man to not forget milk, and basically that's what the refrigerators are going to do in the future. They will have sensors in them, and you will program at what weight at how much milk left would you like the fridge to reorder milk and have it delivered to your doorstep. Completely automated, 100%. So yes, the fridge will see that you have about a quarter of your milk jug left. They will reorder it from a vendor. The vendor will have it delivered to your door. Grocery lists, morning alarms. So when your alarm goes off, there will be an app that will be connected to your coffee pot, your toaster, your shower, anything else you could think of, really. And then as soon as it goes off, it will begin making coffee, make you some toast, and start your shower. All this together, it will save you maybe 10 minutes in the morning, but that's 10 extra minutes and allow you to be more productive and be ready quicker. Driving, with self-driving cars, it's going to decrease traffic and log jams. Also, tuning your car, the car will have sensors in it, even more advanced than they have now, and it will even go so far as to schedule oil changes for you. All you have to do is sync it up to your calendar and when you would like to go, and your car will do it for you. They project that by 2020, each person alone will have 7 connected devices. Right now, they say that we have around an average of 3.5 per person. So that's going to double in the next 4 years. So in business, well, the first thing is there's going to be so much more data that will allow companies to market better. So companies already collect things like cell phone numbers, internet history, website frequency, and things like that allow them to see what products you're looking at what time of the year. But now with everything connected to a sensor, if they can get a hold of all that information, they can essentially determine what you do throughout the day. And so by doing that, they'll be able to better identify needs and market better to certain people. Also, better logistics. With all this information, they'll be able to cut down shipping time, shipping costs, allow them to essentially streamline the process. Also, a larger breadth of control for the executives and the upper level management of the company. With this Internet of Things, they will now be able to take a more hands-on approach to certain aspects of the company. It will allow them to impact more things, which will help them cut costs and will also improve the business. The future of the Internet of Things. So they project that by 2020 there will be 50 billion connected devices, which is insane. Transportation is going to be incredibly easy. There will be no more log jams, no more traffic. People will be able to get from point A to B quicker because you reduce the amount of human error in transportation and driving. Productivity. If you could add an extra hour to your day, how much more productive would you be? Just, think about it. And that's what this will allow us to do. Even more than an hour. It could potentially save us 2.5, 3 hours a day, depending on what we're doing. And then also helping the environment. They have done some research and they found, actually, it's incredible what they can do. They found that if they can hook up every street lamp in a city to the Internet of Things, they could cut down on energy by 70 to 80%, effectively reducing energy costs to a minimal amount, which will greatly help the environment. So just some stats infograph with stats I found, and I find most of these pretty interesting. If you look at number 12 in the bottom right corner, 40% of all data generated by 2020 will come from the Internet of Things. So this is something that's not even really in the full swing yet, but in 4 years, almost half of the data that we have will be produced by it. If you look here at number 8 in the middle, in the next 20 years, they think that somewhere around $41 trillion will be spent in just infrastructure upgrades. That's just infrastructure, nothing else, that's just huge. That's so much money. That's a lot of revenue and a lot of jobs. If you look at number 6 on the right, $970 will be saved per fleet. So companies are going to be saving money left and right, pretty much. So why is this all important? As I mentioned, just the economic implications of it, not even the simplicity or businesses that will be, more equipped to succeed, but just the jobs available and the economic growth. It's going to help a lot of people around the world, and will allow people to help other people. With all this, we'll be able to help out countries in need so much easier. And by 2020, they project that this concept, the Internet of Things, will have an $11 trillion impact on the world. Excuse me. Which will be very, very, very beneficial. As always, thank you for listening. And here are my sources.